I'm Aubrey Flowers, principal at Council Oak Elementary in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I am a Milken educator. I was surprised because he was not in the agenda that I had been sent 3 copies of. So I was like, oh, we're pulling an audible, but that's okay. We're educators, we're flexible, but we roll. And then obviously totally worth it if it was going to be celebrating the work of one of our teachers, because absolutely, I would love to shout them out. And so as he was talking about the incentive, the reward, I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be life-changing for one of these teachers. It's going to be amazing, and I'm so proud of them. I don't even know who it is. It doesn't really matter because they're all amazing. And so I was thinking, honestly, how I could get them out of the classroom so that I could order them lunch and celebrate with them. So I was, in my brain, I was already going into the logistics of a school day, right? And then when he said me, I think I'm still processing that, because as a principal, you work every day to be behind the scenes. You're not the one who stands in front and leads out in a way that most people see, and that's okay. I prefer that. I prefer to support our teachers and love our children and create really amazing experiences for them. And I get to be the one behind the screen doing that, and that's why I got into this job. And so for me to be called out and acknowledged in this way by the foundation is, I didn't even know there were such awards that celebrated principals in that way or educators in that way. So it really is, it's very humbling, to be honest. It's still processing, but we have so much family engagement that you put the word out, you need anything, if the teacher needs anything, the community is here to support it in whatever way they need, whether it's volunteer hours, whether it's supplies for their classroom. They're here, they answer the call, and that's a very big gift, and makes what we do possible, because it is only possible when all 3 are working together towards that mission. What keeps me going is the children and the adults in this building, seeing them building those relationships, knowing that what I wanted to do so long ago is happening. And then I go home to my family. I have 5 children with my husband. I have 5 children, and they're living their education experiences too. And so I get to sit in the seat of a principal and a teacher, but also a parent. And so I would tell you that that's how I principal, is knowing that I'm wearing all the same hats that our families are. I knew the struggles during the pandemic. I knew how challenging that was for families to try and work and also be their at-home teacher, because I was doing the same thing. I was trying to teach and lead a building of almost 500 children through that experience, but also support 5 children at home who were learning online as well. So that's how I approach everything as both a mom and a principal, right? So I listen to other teachers and principals speak about their journey, and typically, not always, but typically they have these amazing childhood experiences in which they knew they were going to be teachers, or they knew, or they were really great students. I wasn't a great student. I wasn't a terrible student. I was an invisible student. School came really difficult for me, but it just was. And when I was in college, I thought, what can I do so that all children are seen, right? What can I do so that there are not invisible students? And because, not that my experience was bad, it wasn't. It just wasn't life-changing for me. And I think it could have. You could alter people's future with those life-changing experiences. And so I was just inspired to dig in and see what I could do to be a piece of that change-making. And so I started as a classroom teacher, and I learned a ton about how, practice and theory that you learn in college, and then your first year as a teacher, and and the struggles and learning how to apply what you learn. And then the reality of engaging all the pieces. So engaging what I knew as a teacher, but then engaging the inquiry that was coming from children and what they wanted to know about. And then engaging our families in what they were interested in their children learning about, but then also their role as a partner in their children's education. And so it just kept going, and I eventually came to a spot where I felt like I wanted to take that next step to be able to affect change in a more broad way. And so how else could I do that but leading in a school? And that's how I ended up here. 5 years later, wouldn't change it for the world. Hasn't been an easy one. It's every day is a new day. Gets exciting, gets challenging. But it's an honor. It's an honor to be able to do this, really.